Hey friends! My name is Marie, or Mar for short, and welcome to my channel. College application season is fast approaching, so today I'm joined by my two closest friends, Kay and Migs, and we'll be talking about our college entrance test experiences here in the Philippines. We'll be covering the DCAT, ACET, UPCAT, DOST scholarship, and more, and we'll also be giving some of our own tips and tricks. We really hope that this video will be helpful for you. I'll put some timestamps in the description box below, so yeah, grab some snacks and let's get on to the video. Migs and Kay, introduce yourselves.
Hi, Migs. Okay.
Hi, I'm Kay.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Migs.
Okay, so what are you guys eating,
I am eating a sandwich. This one is strawberry. I'm eating the strawberry one. And I have another chocolate one, just in case. What are you eating, Kay?
A donut. There.
Ooh.
Yes.
We're all eating pastries. We're all eating bread.
Iced coffee and a croissant. Yes.
Croissant.
Okay, so to start this off, all three of us are currently in senior high school. Actually, no, we just finished. Are we technically done?
We're technically finished.
We're done with the school year. We haven't started college.
Yeah.
Because we haven't graduated yet.
Yeah, we haven't graduated yet. All three of us are from the same high school. So we study in a science high school. And yeah, we were classmates during grade 10.
So it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Let's just go straight to the point. And what was our CET experience?
Okay, so for starters, all three of us, because we're science high school students, we were required to enroll to UP. UP lang, right?
Yeah, we were required to take the UPCAT, which is the entrance test for the University of the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
And we were also required to take the examination for the DOST scholarship.
Scholarship.
What were the sets that we all took? So
We all took UP.
Yeah, we all took UPCAT.
That's it. Because Kay only took the UPCAT.
Kay only took the UPCAT. But me and Migs and I took the ACET and the DCAT, technically. Migs, did you take the USTET?
No, I didn't take the USTET.
Okay, so none of us took the USTET.
I don't think I did took the USTET.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so since I'm the only one who took the DCAT, what we did was, because our school had like some partnershiping with LaSalle, because typically every year there would be a lot of people who would try to get into LaSalle in our school. So first off, like the first thing that was really different for us was that we had a different testing date, and it was a lot earlier than the normal one. So like our testing date, it was a lot earlier, and it was arranged by LaSalle so that all the test takers from our school could take it all at the same time, instead of having to like schedule it and take it with the rest of the people who want to take the DCAT. So there was that.
Okay, for me naman, I didn't take the DCAT, but I submitted my SAT score instead. So the SAT is like, if you don't know, it's like the test that you take for you to be able to apply to colleges in mostly America and like some in other parts of the world, I think.
Other, like Canada?
Yeah.
Canada,
so,
UK.
Yeah. But yeah, mostly America. And I took the SAT. And I scored a 1520. And so that's the one that I submitted to LaSalle. Definitely if you have like a decent score, which is like, I heard like, as long as you're around like 1300 and above, like, you'll probably have no problem getting into LaSalle. So, yeah, definitely, if you're also trying to apply for colleges abroad, you can hit two birds with one stone already by just submitting your SAT. Yeah.
So, the DCAT, if I remember correctly, it was like your usual like college test. It had like 4 parts. There was math, science. Actually, there was more. I can't remember like the distinct categories, but
Mhm.
there was like your usual math, your usual science, your usual English, like the grammar and reading comprehension. And there was also like a little bit of abstract reasoning and like logic. But one thing that the DCAT had that the other sets that we took was there was like a whole segment where they would test your academic writing. So like for example, they'd give you a sample reference in a bibliography. And then the questions are like, how would you properly cite this in APA? Or kunwari, they would like ask like the basics of writing research. So like, what's chapter 2? Ganon.
Mhm.
Or basically academic writing, which was weird because in the other two sets that I took, the UPCAT and the ACET, they didn't have that. So it was like,
Yeah.
I think generally we had a bigger advantage because we came from a science high school, so we at least had the background for that. But yeah, there was that. Aside from that, there wasn't really that much of a difference compared to the other sets. So should we move on to ACET?
So for ACET, both Mix and I took it. Okay.
Should I explain why I didn't take either of the two?
Yeah,
Or
go,
should
go,
I just
sure.
explain
Sure,
it
why not?
again?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, usually the applications for the universities, well, in our case at least, like, our guidance counselors helped us with the deadlines and they tried to
Yeah.
remind us all the time. But around the time where it was college application season, I was, like, busy with other things. And I was just, like, so focused on studying for the UPCAT that I completely forgot about the deadlines. And so, I did not apply for anything in my UP.
I mean, everything turned out well in the end. So
Yeah,
yeah.
fortunately,
We can talk
spoiler
about,
alert,
like,
we're all
our-
going to the same
Yeah,
school.
yeah. So ACET is the entrance test for Ateneo. Both Mix and I took it. And honestly, I think I had the hardest time in ACET. Like
Yeah,
ACET was definitely the hardest.
yeah. Especially if you have like problems with time management, you're definitely
Yeah.
gonna struggle in ACET, I think.
Dude,
Because
I didn't even finish. Like the abstract
Really?
reasoning part, I think.
dude, I just
I didn't finish.
shaded randomly when I couldn't. Okay, because like one thing that really set ACET apart from the other entrance tests that we took was that there were like mini parts that were like 15 or 20 items long. But the time limit for each, it's like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So like within a minute, you need to have like solve like 1 or 2 problems. So that was a really big thing for ACET. And then, one thing I remember about the application process is that compared to De La Salle and UP, Ateneo required essays and recommendations for
Yeah.
their application, right, Mar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to submit like an essay, and then the application, like the actual application document thing, had like a lot more stuff to put in. Like it asked for your
True.
like the ranking of like what school you wanted to go to.
Wasn't there also like a thing where like we didn't have to pay the application fees because we were in a science high school? For like for others, of course, they'd have to pay.
I think so, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't remember
Yeah.
how much exactly the like, application fee was. I mean,
Yeah, because I think our school waived the fees.
Yeah, our school
Right?
waived the
Yeah.
fees, yeah.
And another thing is most of our apps process was done online. Although there's like you can submit physical forms, right?
Yeah. It's just
So
Mhm.
most of us chose to do it like electronically.
although like the website that was used for ACET, like was it like education.ph or something?
It was education.ph.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I don't know why, but like mine low-key kept malfunctioning. Did you have a
Same.
problem? It was so weird.
Oh my god, wait, I have a story, like a short story. So
Okay.
I was looking for a recommendation letter, right?
Uh-huh.
But the teacher I asked during like the last week of apps, she was in Singapore. So when she sent it, like she told me she sent it, but then that was like the day before or something. And then when I checked the website, it said it hadn't been submitted yet. And I remember going to like our guidance office, and our guidance counselor told me that a lot of people are having like similar problems, or like this requirement says it hasn't been submitted or something. So
I think so. It was like the website's problem.
Yeah, I think it's a website or like the server couldn't handle it or something.
Okay, so guys, so like you heard Meg's story, just make sure to like always recheck your portal
Yeah.
just to see like if everything's been
Oh, one
submitted.
important thing I heard from like a lot of people during the application period and like looking for recommendation letters. You
Mm.
gotta keep bugging your teacher.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
another thing I remember about this was I had a friend who asked his advisor, and on the day of the submission, he approached my friend and he said, his is the only one he hasn't written yet. So like I think there's a factor too of like which teachers you choose to like recommend you, because if they have a tendency to cram too, like
Yeah.
no judgment there, but it's added stress.
Just make sure to make kulit your teachers, or like make sure
Yeah.
that the teachers you're picking, like aside from them really
They-
knowing who you are, so that they can like
you
make a good
are.
recommendation.
They know the deadline.
Yeah, they know that they have to know the deadline.
Yeah.
The issue isn't really with the teachers cramming. Sometimes they're just so busy that they forget. So it's
Yeah.
important to like kind of nudge
Yeah.
them a little and tell them, hey, there's a deadline upcoming.
You gotta consider that too whenever like you're choosing like teacher recommenders.
How was like the actual ACET, like the actual test? What was it like?
Like content wise, the ACET was pretty like standard-ish.
True.
Did ACET have like Filipino?
I don't think it had Filipino. Did it? Parang wala.
I think UPCAT was the only one that had a Filipino portion.
Yeah.
Huh?
Wait, what are the of ACET? Like, what are the categories? I'm gonna search nga.
Just edit the thing in
The
like
ACET
yeah,
covers
on the screen.
3 topics, namely English, mathematics, and general intelligence.
Oh, general intelligence. Okay, general intelligence was weird.
Yeah.
General intelligence had like a few more like subcategories, right?
Yeah, it was the one where you had to like speed run through it.
Yeah.
But there was also like random facts you had to know. There were questions about music. There were questions about religion. There were questions about literature. So like, although they call it general knowledge, it's not
Yeah.
like something that's common knowledge.
Yeah.
So I think just be prepared. ACET had an essay. You remember that, Mar?
Yeah, ACET had an essay.
They'd ask you to write an essay during the test itself.
Yeah,
so
there
aside
was, like, a
from your
prompt.
application essay,
Was
I
it
think there were
something
4 prompts because there were different 4-time like schedules.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, you're given a prompt and then you're supposed to write an essay about it.
One of my friends who also took the ACET, like right after she was complaining in our group chat because like there was a question about Superman's hometown or something.
What? Really?
Yeah, apparently. Like in the general knowledge section. Because like apparently pop culture was also like part in some sets.
Oh yeah. Pop culture was.
Yeah. Now that I
Yeah.
think of it, it's like a little pop culture.
So
It
I
was
guess
very
like that's hard to study for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, a tip for the ACET, since it's like the time limit is really strict. Even if you don't like finish a section, make sure you still like shade as much as possible. Since like compared to the UPCAT, which is on a right minus wrong basis, the ACET isn't. So like if you shade like more questions, you have more chances of getting some of those right than if you just like leave them blank and then you just get all of them
Yeah.
wrong. So yeah,
Take
just
the gamble, guys.
yeah, take the gamble because wala namang mawawala. Yeah.
one nice thing about ACET was you could get to choose your schedule and like where you could take it. So choose wisely.
Oh, yeah.
I took it in the elementary school. So because
okay.
because the both of us live in the same like city,
Yeah.
we were only given those 2 options, like the high school of Ateneo or like the grade school of Ateneo.
Mm.
And since I couldn't get to choose my test schedule early because that whole like mishap with my recommendation letter not being submitted, I was only left with the grade school.
Oh.
And so when I got to the grade school, it was kind of a little more it's not cramped in any at all naman, but you could tell that it was made for like grade school students. If you
More
have the
traffic.
option, choose high school.
Oh yeah, like on the day itself, it was pretty traffic, like going in and out. So definitely like we got to Ateneo like pretty early, so there wasn't a lot of like cars yet. And I just ate breakfast there
Same.
because I was like a morning session. Mix, were you morning or afternoon?
I was afternoon. I was after the first.
Oh, okay. Was it a lot more traffic then?
I think because we entered the high school, there wasn't a lot of parking, even though we came before the time that the morning session ended.
True. Yeah.
So we were just circling around campus for a while. So make sure, like, if you're not getting dropped off, like immediately, make sure to come early or like find somewhere else near and then just walk to your test site.
General tips for ACET: be aware of the time limit. Shade as many questions as possible. Get to the venue early. I think that applies to all of the
Like,
sets. Honestly,
generally, yeah.
Know like your general information. Like, do we have like
Yeah.
may mga like resources ba that we can suggest?
There's like a bunch of books na you can buy at National Bookstore that have like talk
True.
about.
Oh,
Okay.
I remember. I'm not sure if it was a asset or not, but my test booklet it said it was from like 2008 or something. So I think I'm not sure. Maybe they cycled through the question.
Oh.
So I think one big resource thing you have is like ask older people who already took the set.
Yeah. Ask like upper batches.
Because-
yeah.
Yeah, because chances are there would be similar patterns and like you could expect similar content to show up in your own asset.
You could ask for like reviewers then that they used. Let us move on to
The final one and the last one that we took.
which
The
is
UPCAT.
UPCAT. Yeah. So yeah, the UPCAT, which is arguably the most important set for us, at least.
Oh, definitely the most important one for me.
Yeah,
It's your
okay.
time to shine.
It's your only set.
Well, first of all, what were y'all's sessions?
I was afternoon yet again.
Mm.
I was afternoon and I took mine in the College of Arts and Letters.
I think I was first day afternoon. Yeah, I was first day afternoon in Palma Hall. So I still had time to like study in the car before the actual test. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
think
Mar,
maybe
we were the
we
same.
were
We were the same
Yeah.
schedule.
Huh? Oh yeah.
We were the same schedule,
Yeah,
right?
we were the same
Because we were
sched,
planning to like
yeah.
study together.
Yeah, but like they didn't
So we
happen.
were first day. We were first day.
Yeah, we were first
Yeah.
day.
We're just different venues.
Afternoon, yeah.
I was one of the very first who took it because I was first day morning.
And morning.
The thing was, technically, our test permit said na it would start at 7 and be there by like 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be there a lot earlier than that. Kasi in the end, what happened was like just going into UP, it already took like more than 30 minutes kahit nandun ka na sa like Carlos Garcia. Yeah. At least, yeah. And like once we actually did get in, when you get to the place, they usually have like other entrances prepared. And like it's really not clear where some of the entrances are. I think I went to Fine Arts then, and like they took us around the back to like a basement. Then we had to climb stairs. And like I wouldn't have found that out if like the guard didn't bring me to the basement. So it's important to get there early because they might have like a special entrance prepared. When the proctors say use the bathroom, when like while you still can, use the bathroom then. Because like, if you have to go in the middle of the exam,
Yeah.
you're going to have to go like while the timer is ticking.
Yeah.
You can't
That's
go
true. Yeah.
minutes or something.
There's no break time.
Yeah, no break times. Like, dude, I just
think-
remember like, getting up at 4 a.m. even though I live like 15 minutes away from UP. Like, I woke up at 4 a.m. to go to a test that was at 7.
Generally, it's just better to be really early
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
than the slightest minute late. Just remember that.
One thing I want to say at least is like some testing centers are really cold, so like bring a jacket or like something
Yeah.
a bit cooler. Because like sometimes, depending on like the order of when like you came into the center, you might get placed directly under the aircon, and that's hell when you're trying to like think and like you're just shivering. Yeah, that's really hard.
Yeah.
I
And like
agree with
I
you.
think for UP, because the number of applicants like shot up this year, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, there was
In
a
my
lot.
case, like the room we were in, it was really small. All our chairs, instead of like a normal like spacing, we were like pretty cramped together. And I was like in front of the door where you would enter and exit. So there's that. So I
Wait,
don't
was it
think there's
cold?
a lot you can do if you end up in a situation like that, aside from
Really.
be prepared and don't mind it.
Yeah. Was your venue cold, Mix? Or was it like hot?
I think it was supposed to be cold. I had an aircon room,
Supposed
fortunately.
to be.
But because there were so many of us, there were like 40, I think.
There was like 200 people in my testing hall.
You were a hall though, right?
Oh, you're in hall.
Yeah, there were 200 people, and like
Damn.
the people who arrived late had to like sit like right next to each other. That's what the back area looked like.
That's so
And like since I
bad.
Oh,
came
that was our
early,
entire room, yeah.
the front.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. I
Like I was
see.
at the front, so it was like comfy, and like yeah, the only downside was like the aircon was like right above me, so like the air was just torturing me.
To all the left-handed people watching, if they ask if there are any left-handed people, raise your hand immediately and take the seat. Take the seat immediately because there were a lot of left-handed people when I took it.
Damn.
So
Mhm.
I ran out of chairs. If it's like the armchair, it's not the one where it's like the desk and the chair are separate. Definitely ask if they have any left-handed chairs
Yeah.
because especially if it's crowded, you're gonna have a hard time like focusing and like keeping your stuff because that happened to me and it was like
Don't be shy,
no.
guys. Ask your proctor.
Yeah, don't be shy to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
don't be too scared of them. Kasi like
Yeah.
I hear like a lot of people are absolutely terrified by like proctors. Where like they're there to also like help you, so don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. Wait, so in
That's
my
true.
case, Palma Hall, like, there was no aircon. Like, puro classrooms yung Palma Hall. So I was like
Oh yeah.
in the first floor and then like in one classroom and I was in the corner with like the window and it was really hot. So, but I still brought a jacket just in case. So yeah, even if you think na you're gonna be placed in like a hot area, just bring like a jacket or a light cardigan, mga ganon, just in case.
Yeah.
Because it's better to be safe and
I
sorry.
think- I think your best bet is to wear something like light in case it's like really hot and then just bring like a fairly
Yeah.
thick warmer piece of clothing if
Yeah.
it's really cold. Just be sure to prepare for like both extremes. Anything could happen.
Mm.
And take note that UPCAT was the only entrance test that the three of us took that had a Filipino portion.
Yeah. So both reading comprehension and language proficiency, they were both in English and Filipino. Four subtests,
Yeah.
language proficiency, reading comprehension,
Mhm.
science, and math.
And there was like also a part in the math section where there's like a few questions that were in Filipino. So
Yeah, that's
it's
true, that's true.
important to know your terms.
I think ACET was
Hmm?
definitely the hardest to manage in terms of time. But UPCAT, it's long. What
So
I had
it's like a
difficulty
lot
with.
more tiring mentally. I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
I actually
So, like, I
got a
think-
fever in the middle.
Oh yeah, I
That
remember
was
you
tiring.
telling me this.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just got so stressed, and like the night before, I couldn't sleep properly. So like in the middle of the test, because like the test is like 5 hours. Like
Yeah.
halfway through, like I realized that I was burning up, and like I was shivering, and my head was starting to hurt. But I was just like, wait, I can't leave. I gotta keep going. But like I just held on. But like I was so tired at the end of it that I just passed out when I got home, and I was asleep for like the entire day.
I think that's also something you need to know that you can't really leave. Once you're in there, you can't come back if you're like not feeling good. So try to push through, but also at the same time, don't push yourself too much.
Yeah.
I know people who did that, and it's not worth it. But like I think going back to like the length thing, I think one of the regrets that I had when I took the tests was that I was still in my mindset when I took the ACET, when I took the UPCAT. since ACET was like a lot more fast paced and I had to be quicker, I thought I had to have that mindset when I was taking the UPCAT, which is definitely not the case. I think for UPCAT, you should definitely take your time because because even though it's long, the test itself is long. You also have like the advantage naman, of course, of like a
More
longer
time,
time
yeah.
limit. So take advantage of that.
Definitely take your time in each question and make sure that it's already correct once you answer it. So that even if
Yeah.
you do run out of time, at least you know that all of the questions you've answered are already like correct.
I think now is a good time to mention the right minus wrong.
Yes, guys, remember that the UPCAT is right minus wrong.
Well, it's not
What was it?
exactly
1/4 wrong? Minus
Oh
4
yeah,
wrong.
right minus 1/4 wrong.
For the people who don't have math brain cells, they're like me. That's for every 4 things you get wrong, they subtract 1
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
Yes. But personally, if you ask me, just guess.
Just answer your best guess, basically.
In the math part, like I don't know why, but I got one of the harder math sets. Because like, there's a lot of different sets for like different people, so you don't have like the exact same exam. But like the
True,
set
yeah.
I got had a really hard math. And like, what happened was like I actually ran out of time.
Oh,
And
same,
like in
same.
the last 5 minutes, I still had 20 items unanswered. So I just went for it.
Same,
Because
same.
like in
Yeah.
my mind, it was like if I get all 20 correct, that's plus 20. But if I get all 20 wrong, that's just minus 5. That
True.
was
You
my
should like
mindset going
True,
into it.
true, yeah.
yeah, that's something you should take into consideration too. Like think of like the worst and best case scenario of if you're guessing or not. Yeah, generally just I think it's not worth it to like leave anything blank in general.
Yeah.
Just just answer.
Unless you're really, really not sure of the answer, just leave it
Yeah.
blank. Like if you're really, really
Just
not
leave
sure.
it blank.
Oh yeah, wait. How were
Like-
your science sections? Because for me, like I talked to my best friend. She said that she had a science like test that was more focused on like physics and chem more than bio. And then me on the other hand, I had a lot more bio questions, which like worked in favor of me. So yeah, like did you guys like
Oh yeah, definitely.
did you guys have
I think-
more like what kind of questions?
I think mine was like more chem and like more like it was mostly chem, but there was a lot of bio and like only 3 or 5 questions that were physics. But there was so little physics that I was surprised.
Yeah.
But
Same.
like the night before, I was like, studying for physics like super hard because I'm not that good at physics. Then when I got to the UPCAT, I had like 5 questions that were physics, and they were all basic.
So I guess just like
Same here.
if you're studying for science, so it's like chem, physics, and bio. If you're
And Earth Sci.
oh yeah, in Earth Sci, make sure like you focus studying on your weaknesses. Because if you're already like strong at like bio, for example, just like kind of
Yeah,
just
really
go
good.
through it, and then focus on improving your other like subjects.
Yeah, because with
Yeah.
science, since they have like this defined subtopics, you don't know what kind of a mix of each of the subtopics are gonna be. I don't think you can count on all of like biochem, physics, and earth side being like an equal number of items. So I think you just gotta be prepared for the worst.
Although from what I did hear, apparently like in our batch at least, there was a lot more chem questions than any other question in all of the sets.
True.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, I don't know if that's like a specific to our batch thing or like that's just like a common thing that happens. But yeah, it was a thing that happened with us, so I was lucky
Keep in mind.
because I was okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, for reading comprehension. If you have like a hard time answering reading comprehension stuff, read all the questions first before you read the text that's given to you, so that when you go back, you know what to look for already, and you can just
Yeah.
like skim through the stuff. Because I think reading comprehension talaga yung may time pressure.
I think among the 4 subtests, I think reading comprehension has the widest variety of topics because it can be like a fiction passage or poetry, or it could also be like interpreting a graph. So like you really don't know what's gonna come up with reading comprehension. I think my tip for reading comprehension would be like find out the general topic of each set of questions first, and if you're not confident in that, just skip the whole thing, right? And like answer it one passage at a time. Because if you keep like flitting between different passages, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
You can use like the stat. Yeah. Like you can use the reading comprehension stuff on like the SAT review on College Board as like practice.
So yeah, if you're also studying for the SAT, it's definitely like a huge help then for UPCAT and for like all the tests with reading comprehension. So yeah. Do you guys have like any more tips for UPCAT or no?
I think that's it. Because like the application for UPCAT was pretty standard. There wasn't anything really, to it.
Just like always
Oh
take
wait,
note of
actually there is
deadlines.
one thing. In our case, like we were lucky because like our school handled like the turning over of document and everything for us. But for most students, you're going to have to go to UP and like line up to like submit your document.
True, yeah.
So put aside a day for that as well because like it takes a while apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
I think just ask your guidance counselors or like your teachers for help, and also like ask your other batchmates also, so that you guys can do it together.
Yeah, get as much help as you can, no matter how embarrassing. Like, no matter how simply dumb your questions are, if you're not sure about it, just make sure to ask. It's better to be safe.
Oh, how about like the actual like choosing your campus and like your courses? You guys have tips for that?
Oh, true. Okay, wait. Let's give context first, because the UP, like the UP system in the Philippines, has like different campuses, right? So when you apply, you can pick 2 campuses, and then for those 2 campuses, you get to have 4 choices of degrees.
What did you put?
For me, my first campus choice was Diliman, and then for my second choice, it was Los Baños. But for my courses in Diliman, it was like my first was bio, and then I'm not sure about the order anymore, but I remember putting food technology and MDD.
Okay.
And some other bio thing I forgot now. What about you guys?
Same with you. Like UP Diliman was my first choice campus, and then UP Manila was my second, which honestly doesn't make sense because UP Manila has like you need like a higher UPG or university predicted grade.
Yeah.
So wait. University predicted grade.
Okay. Context.
University predicted grade is basically is it like 60% UPCAT or 40% UPCAT?
60% of it comes from your score in the UPCAT, and then 40% comes from your final grade in your 11th grade.
Okay, basta 60% UPCAT score and 40% your high school grades, right?
Your grade.
High school grades.
So like in very extreme cases, I don't think it affects people as much. In extreme cases, even if you get a really good score in the UPCAT, if your grade 11 grades aren't so hot, aren't doing so well, you might not get a chance at like your first choice.
Yeah.
Like, and like the same goes for like the converse, where like even if you do bad in the UPCAT, there's a possibility that your grades, it could carry your UPG. So
yeah, back to the
going back.
So my first choice campus was UP Diliman, and then the courses were like bio, and then I think I put ComNut, community nutrition, and then like family development stuff. Oh yeah, no, bio, psychology, ComNut, and family development thingy.
Oh yeah. I think my fourth choice was psychology too. I think I put psych.
So Manila has a higher UPG cutoff, like than the rest of the UP campuses. So honestly, does it make sense that I put it as my second choice campus? But like I honestly didn't plan on going to UPM anyway. So like I just put it there for whatever. And I think my first choice there was like public health, and then I forgot the other ones. Just not very important. So yeah. How about UK?
Well, my first campus choice was UP Diliman. because I don't know, I didn't feel like I would be like comfortable like living in Manila because like, I'm not very familiar with the place. My courses were bio and then chem, which was
Oh,
honestly like out of left field for me. But I put it there. I do not know why. Luckily, I got into my first choice and first campus, and so
Same.
that went
yeah.
well.
Yes,
So
Spoiler
my
we're all
alert.
second choice,
we're all
We
UPC
passed the same
bio.
course.
Yeah.
my second campus choice was UPM because my mom would definitely not allow me to go to UPLB even though like I kind of wanted to. And my courses there, like the courses I wanted there were biochem, and then I think the next one was bio as well, or
So
like
biochemistry and then
something.
bio.
Yeah,
So aside from like the demand of who wants to get into like which campus, I think you also have to take into consideration the availability of the courses you want in like the campuses.
Yeah, and like the
And
quota courses, right?
yeah, quota courses. Like know which courses are in demand.
Make sure you
And
have like a
I
backup
think
course that's non-quota, just in case you don't
true,
get
yeah.
into that quota course that you wanted.
I think for us, since all three of us are required to take like a science course, I think it's more or less of like pretty given that we either like go to Diliman or UP Manila. But
Yeah.
if you're not like a STEM student or science student, take into consideration like the specialties of each campus. Like I think Baguio specializes if you want to go into law. Am I right?
Oh, really?
I think so.
I think so.
Not
Though.
sure.
I'm not sure.
And then basta Manila is med,
Mm-mm.
definitely.
The health
And I
sciences.
think if you want to go into like, and if you want to go into like agriculture or like forestry was like my first choice, the Los Baños. So yeah, that's what Los Baños specializes in. And then Visayas is like, I think Visayas is marine sciences. So yeah, take that into consideration too when you're like picking a course and campus.
As students, we also have to kind of like think about how much it's going to cost to like live in the areas we're going to school
True.
to. So financial support.
And it's a really
Transition.
big help
UP
too
is already
that
tuition free. So,
UP tuition is free.
Yeah.
Bless.
Yeah.
If you plan on going to a different school that isn't UP, which probably has like a higher tuition, like Ateneo, LaSalle, and you don't have like a scholarship from them, definitely try applying for the DOST scholarship, which is for students who are planning to take STEM degrees in college. So as science high school students, we were required to take the DOST scholarship test. Yeah, do you guys have any tips for that?
I honestly did not study.
Same.
Yeah, don't study. I think it's not worth studying for it.
I think like the set,
Yeah.
like the stuff that you study for your sets is already enough for DOST.
Yeah. Do you guys remember like the whole like engineering like category or something?
It's called textbook.
What do you mean?
Yeah, something like that.
vocational.
Basta in that test that we took, there was a whole like category where I personally do not think you could be able to study for it. You know, like the gears, like the turning and like the pulley
Oh.
systems, and I'm like,
Yeah.
just like yeah, I don't think it's worth studying for that, but it's definitely worth applying for.
Yeah. Because they get a lot of people naman.
Oh, if you're applying for the DOST scholarship, you have to know that there are two kinds of scholarships. There's like the merit scholarship, which is like the automatic scholarship, and then there's like the RA 7087 or something. I don't know. Can you edit that onto the screen?
Yeah, I'll edit it onto the screen.
There's a special like Republic Act that helps people from like lower income brackets so that they can have like better scholarships, and it generally gives like better financial aid and stuff. If you can, and if you really need like the financial aid, I suggest you definitely try applying for like the not merit scholarship,
Yeah, the not merits.
because it definitely gives like
Yeah.
a better amount of assistance for you financially.
There's like a very niche problem that not a lot of people have, but I actually have with the USC scholarship.
Oh, is
Is
this
that okay? I am
the citizenship thing?
I'm a passer. I'm actually not going to take the scholarship anymore because of this issue. And like I don't think a lot of people will have this issue, but for the scholarship to be really like, useful to you, you're going to have to be a full-fledged Filipino citizen. Because if you're like me, I'm a dual citizen because I was born abroad, but both of my parents are Filipino. So technically, I'm both a U.S. citizen and a Filipino citizen. And because of this fact, I can't use the scholarship because what the contract says is if I take the scholarship without giving away my other citizenship, I'm going to have to pay back everything that they gave me plus 12% interest. So that's just something you might want to consider as well.
Oh yeah, also if you take the scholarship, there's like something called an RSA, a return service agreement.
So like your return service agreement, when you take up the scholarship, it means that you have to work in the Philippines for the minimum of the number of years you had to take in college. So like say your course is a 4-year course, then that means for the next 4 years after college, you're gonna have to work in the Philippines in like a STEM or like an accredited like job or profession. Or if it's 5, then you have to stay here for at least 5 years.
Which is like a job related to the course that you took.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from what I heard as well, it's not exactly like that for med students. Like med students will only have their RSA after they graduate from med school. Because like they said that in the orientation actually, I think.
Still something to keep in mind in case you don't really plan on working here in the Philippines.
So if you guys are considering a review center, I don't know what to say about this.
Okay, so all three of us went to review centers with the rest of our
Yeah, we went to the
batchmates.
same one. There's a lot of people in our school who like go to review centers. So generally it's like a thing most people do.
Yeah, because like we had a discount and stuff for the batch. So
True.
we went to the same review center, and for me, I think it was really worth it, just because like it kind of forced me to actually study for the test, and it provided me with like an actual reviewer. It helped you focus on like the topics that were actually on the set, so you don't have to like go looking for other resources. Like barely, like everything is already there in the reviewer. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it because like I think I learned better in like a classroom setting than just self learning. I feel like I would have had like a harder time answering the sets. What's your experience?
Our review center kasi, we had it in the summer before our final year in high school. So yeah, there was also that. I think some review centers do it like on weekends right before like when classes start. So
Yeah.
I think that's something you have to take in mind when you're planning on going into a review center. But for me personally, I think it's not that worth it to like go to a review center if you're like kind of just pushing it for like the extra security and to be extra sure that you're like that you know
Yeah.
like you have a broad coverage of topics that you have like that you're confident in answering. Because for me, I think I'm the type of person who has a decent like working stock knowledge, but when I take up those topics like in a review, I tend to like hyper focus on like those things. So if you're like the type of person to like panic a lot and like think about your sets, I suggest you do not like go to review center, because I think for me it caused me to like fixate on like specific topics rather than like working on my like a general like like stock knowledge. Because I think if you did like not even well, if you did decent in like high school, I think that amount of stock knowledge is enough to like knowledge wise at least to like take you through their sets and pass them.
Just as long as you have like the discipline also to study by yourself, because
Yeah.
no one will be
Yeah.
watching you, so you have to be the one
Yeah.
to actually discipline yourself.
Well, to me, I'm not entirely sure if like going to the review center like, taught me a lot. But like I do feel like I picked up like a bunch of like tips and like tricks to like do things faster. Specifically like math, because like our teacher was teaching us shortcuts and everything. Like that actually helped me.
Yeah.
And I guess like yeah, I understand like what Mig said about how like if you have like a lot of stock knowledge already, you don't really gain much from it. So for some people, I guess it could be just like an unnecessary expense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with Mark in like it did kind of like help me focus and like it gave me like a reason to actually study
Yeah.
and like have a schedule to study. That helped a lot.
Oh, I think to add lang, I think my personal rule of thumb now is if you're gonna worry about like the money it costs for you to like enroll into like a review center, I think don't enroll na. Especially if you're like taking like extra time or extra money out of like your normal routine to like review. And I think you're better off studying on your own na lang. But otherwise, you know, if you just want to be extra sure and you have like the luxury of the time naman and money, then yeah, it's better to be safe.
So, yeah, to close this first episode, do you guys have any like last messages, tips for the audience?
Just don't panic.
Yeah.
Don't panic. It's not worth the panic.
Get some rest before the actual
Yes.
exam and don't think too much like the night before because that's
Yeah.
definitely gonna take a toll on you.
Just make sure you have your mindset and to be calm throughout the preparation and through your like entrance tests themselves, and you'll be okay.
Yes.
Definitely like go back to the basics of like your high school subjects. Those are, I think that's like the most important part of studying for sets. So yeah, if you don't remember the basics,
Yeah,
go back to them.
there's
because
nothing to build on that.
Yeah. Okay, so that was our sets experience and all of the tips that we have. So if you guys have
Yes.
any more questions for us, just leave them in the comments below. Leave them in the comments below. And we'll do our best to get back to them. And also if you guys have like any more suggestions on like what videos we can make for you guys, anything like about college or about high school, or just about anything under the sun that could be potentially
Yeah, if you
helpful
want,
to
if you want to
guys.
see our faces more.
Yeah, our very attractive faces. Thank you guys for watching this first episode of Convoluted Convos with Kay and Mix and me. Yeah, I forgot.
Yay!
Okay,
Do we have a bye? Do you have a goodbye?
We'll just say
Have a
bye.
good time.
Bye.
Bye.